What happens when love, beauty, and queer power collide? Today on Rainbow Spotlight, we're diving into the top 5 hottest gay couples who aren't just setting Instagram on fire. They're redefining what modern love looks like. From secret romances to fan-favorite duos, these couples are bold, beautiful, and breaking every mold. Some are officially dating, some are shipped like crazy by fans. But all of them are stealing hearts worldwide. But first, tell us, where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below and stay tuned till the end because we have a little bonus surprise you won't want to miss. Ready to feel the love? Let's dive right in. Manu, Ríos, and Marc Forné, the stylish power couple. Everyone's obsessed with. When it comes to blending high fashion, effortless cool, and queer visibility, no couple does it quite like Manu, Ríos, and Marc Forné. Before they became the internet's most stylish gay power couple, they were on separate paths to fame. Manu Ríos, born in 1998 in Spain, first captured attention as a young YouTube cover singer with striking good looks. By the time Elite catapulted him into global stardom, Manu wasn't just a rising actor. He was a bona fide heartthrob. Meanwhile, Marc Forné, a few years older, had already made his mark in the fashion world as a model, photographer, and influencer, known for his editorial shoots and runway-perfect style. Individually, they were impressive. Together, they became unstoppable. Rumors started swirling in 2021 when fans spotted them vacationing together, their chemistry undeniable. They didn't need grand statements or cheesy captions. A glance, a touch, a shared photo, and the internet exploded. No flashy announcements, no magazine covers, just two men living, laughing, and loving openly in a world that still doesn't always make it easy. Their relationship felt refreshing in a sea of Hollywood performativity. It wasn't about courting attention. It was about authenticity. Both Manu and Marc embodied a kind of queer masculinity that wasn't boxed into old stereotypes, elegant, confident, tender, and fiercely stylish. They showed that you could be soft and strong, glamorous and grounded, all while living proudly. Their Instagram feeds became a playground of mutual admiration. From cozy at-home selfies to front-row seats at Paris Fashion Week, they crafted a visual diary that felt aspirational without ever feeling fake. Fans didn't just follow them, they rooted for them. What made Manu and Marc's connection even more powerful was what they didn't do. They didn't rush to define their love for the public. They let the moment speak louder than labels. And in that quiet confidence, they inspired millions. Because for many young queer people watching, seeing two handsome, successful men love each other openly, without apology, without hesitation, was revolutionary in itself. Beyond the curated aesthetics and the viral moments, Manu and Marc represent something even bigger, the normalization of queer joy. Not a tragedy, not a coming-out headline, not a scandal, just two beautiful lives intertwining, growing, and thriving together. As of 2025, whether they're still together romantically or not, their bond remains iconic. They've already made history as one of the most beloved and stylish gay duos of their generation, breaking barriers not through protest, but through presence. And honestly, sometimes simply living your truth in full color is the most radical act of all. Drop a 1 if you believe that real love doesn't need to shout to be seen. Rainbow sparkles. Froy Gutierrez and Zane Phillips. The low-key love story everyone's rooting for. In a world obsessed with loud declarations and viral moments, Froy Gutierrez and Zane Phillips have quietly written one of the most captivating queer love stories of their generation. Froy Gutierrez, the doe-eyed heartthrob from Teen Wolf and Cruel Summer, has always exuded a magnetic mix of mystery and vulnerability. Born in 1998 in Dallas, Texas, Froy rose to fame without ever shouting his personal life from the rooftops. Instead, he let his talent and his quiet charm do the talking. Zane Phillips, meanwhile, broke out with roles in Legacies and Fire Island. Tall, handsome, and effortlessly charismatic, Zane brought a fresh kind of queer masculinity to Hollywood. Confident but never cocky, bold yet soft around the edges. When whispers first started about the two of them dating, fans didn't believe it at first. After all, both had maintained a certain level of privacy, but slowly, clues began to surface. Cozy Instagram posts, shared trips, subtle comments in interviews. Nothing was ever fully confirmed, yet somehow it didn't need to be. Their connection was palpable. What makes Froy and Zane's story so special isn't just that they're beautiful, talented, and beloved. It's how they've handled their relationship, with grace, privacy, and quiet pride. They didn't turn their love into a publicity stunt. They didn't chase headlines or engagement bait. They simply chose each other in the soft spaces between fame and fandom. In doing so, they offered a different kind of visibility, one rooted in normalcy rather than spectacle. A reminder that sometimes the most revolutionary thing a queer person can do is just live, love, and be. For many young LGBTQ+ fans, seeing two rising stars share an authentic bond without feeling the need to justify or explain it has been powerful. They shattered the outdated narrative that queer love has to be either hidden or exploited. Instead, they showed that love can simply be quiet, consistent, and real. Their chemistry, both online and off, speaks volumes. Whether it's a glance caught on camera, a candid laugh, or a shared sunset photo, Froy and Zane radiate a tenderness that's hard to fake and impossible to miss. As of 2025, they remain one of the internet's most shipped and celebrated low-key couples. They're not just setting gay hearts racing, they're setting a new standard for what queer celebrity relationships can look like. Grounded, genuine, and gloriously unbothered by outside noise. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful love stories aren't always the loudest. They're the ones that feel most real. Drop a 2 if you believe love doesn't need validation. It just needs to be lived. Troye Sivan and Ross Lynch. The fan-favorite fantasy that refuses to die. Some pairings don't need official confirmation to set the internet on fire. Troye Sivan and Ross Lynch are one of those rare duos, where one look, one moment, one vibe is enough to fuel a million dreams. Troye Sivan, the South African-born Australian singer and actor, has long been an icon of queer youth. From Blue Neighborhood to Bloom, his music has been a love letter to vulnerability, self-discovery, and fearless authenticity. Effortlessly androgynous, unapologetically tender, Troye redefined what a gay pop star could look and sound like. Ross Lynch, meanwhile, carved a different path. From Disney Channel heartthrob to indie rocker with the Driver era, Ross has evolved into a queer-coded sensation without ever boxing himself in. His easy charm, boy-next-door looks, and daring fashion choices, think painted nails, crop tops, and gender-fluid aesthetics, have made him a favorite among LGBTQ+ fans, even without an explicit coming-out moment. So when Troye and Ross's worlds occasionally collided through mutual friends, music circles, or those electric red carpet encounters, the internet couldn't help itself. The shipping began. Hard. And honestly, it's easy to see why. They're the perfect study in contrasts. Troye's ethereal softness against Ross's golden boy ruggedness. Troye's introspective energy meeting Ross's free-spirited boldness. Together, they represent a fantasy of what modern masculinity could be. Expressive, emotional, unafraid. Over the years, fan edits, speculative tweets, and playful memes have kept the Tross ship alive. Photos of them laughing together at events. A fleeting arm brush caught by paparazzi, an Instagram like here, a comment there. None of it confirmed anything, but all of it confirmed everything fans wanted to believe. It's not about reality, it's about possibility. Because seeing two young, beautiful men, both beloved by millions, both celebrated for embracing fluidity and breaking gender norms, even without a traditional love story, feels revolutionary in itself. In a world that still clings tightly to labels, Troye and Ross embody the idea that chemistry, admiration, and emotional intimacy can exist outside rigid boxes. They give fans permission to dream bigger about what connection, queerness, and representation can look like. As of 2025, while Troye remains one of the most important openly gay artists in the world, and Ross continues to play with queer-coded fashion and storytelling, their names are forever linked in the hearts of fans. Not because they needed to be, but because we needed them to be. In the end, whether it was just friendship, fleeting moments, or something more behind the scenes, the Troye x Ross phenomenon reminds us that sometimes the fantasy we build says more about our hopes than about their reality, and that's a beautiful thing. Drop a 1 if you believe that sometimes a shared moment is powerful enough to change everything. Rainbow. Luke Evans and Fran Thomas, a love story. Built on strength, style, and staying power. In Hollywood, queer love stories are often fleeting, hidden, or carefully managed. But Luke Evans and Fran Thomas have shown the world what it looks like when two successful men live and love loudly, authentically, and beautifully. Luke Evans, the Welsh actor with the booming voice and piercing blue eyes, built his career playing everything from Disney villains to action heroes to tortured romantics. Off-screen, however, he remained famously private about his sexuality for years, walking a tightrope between visibility and discretion. It wasn't until his career was firmly established that Luke began speaking openly about being gay, and when he did, it felt powerful. He wasn't coming out. He was simply stepping forward, unafraid. Enter Fran Thomas, a Spanish project manager and low-key style icon in his own right. Unlike the flash of Hollywood, Fran brought a grounded, real-world energy to their partnership. He wasn't looking for red carpets or headlines. He was living his own successful life until love, quietly and spectacularly, found him. The two reportedly began dating around 2021, and though they kept things relatively private at first, their relationship quickly became a beacon for LGBTQ+ fans around the world. They weren't using their romance for publicity. They weren't giving carefully crafted interviews. Instead, they shared glimpses, vacation photos, cozy moments at home, snapshots of a life built together on laughter, fitness, travel, and mutual admiration. It was refreshing. It was real. It was the kind of gay love story so many people had longed to see, not hidden, not sensationalized, but proudly, beautifully normal. Their dynamic is one of balance. Luke's public-facing career complemented by Fran's quieter world. Luke's flair for performance matched by Fran's down-to-earth confidence. Together, they built a private sanctuary within the whirlwind of fame, proving that real love doesn't require constant validation to thrive. Fans have watched with admiration as they celebrated milestones together, birthdays, romantic getaways, moments of professional success, always lifting each other up, always cheering each other on. And while Luke continues to slay in Hollywood with major projects and music releases, Fran remains his steady partner behind the scenes, offering a glimpse of what queer happiness can truly look like when fame, ego, and fear are stripped away. In a world where LGBTQ+ relationships are still often politicized or questioned, Luke and Fran's story shines as a reminder. Queer love can be joyful. It can be grounded. It can be lasting. Because true visibility isn't just about waving a flag. It's about living openly, authentically, and without apology every single day. And that's exactly what Luke Evans and Fran Thomas continue to do, with strength, style, and a quiet kind of revolutionary pride. Drop a 5 if their story reminds you that love at its best doesn't have to shout. It just has to shine. Rainbow sparkles. Connor Jessup and Miles Heizer, the indie love story that stole our hearts. In a sea of celebrity couples chasing clout, Connor Jessup and Miles Heizer gave us something different, something tender, real, and quietly revolutionary. Connor Jessup, the Canadian actor known for Falling Skies and Lock and Key, built his career on playing complex, soulful characters. But off-screen, he struggled for years with hiding his true self. In 2019, he came out publicly with a heartfelt Instagram post, not to make headlines, but to make peace with himself. He wasn't trying to become a queer icon, he just wanted to live honestly. Miles Heizer, beloved from 13 Reasons Why and Parenthood, had already been quietly living out and proud in Hollywood. With his boyish charm and unmistakable emotional depth, Miles never made a big deal about being gay. He just was. And in doing so, he became a soft beacon of normalcy for young LGBTQ+ fans everywhere. When Connor and Miles' relationship first became public in early 2020, it felt like a breath of fresh air. No staged paparazzi shots, no PR maneuvers, just a few candid photos. A Valentine's Day post here, a quiet selfie there, and suddenly the world was swooning, because their love didn't scream for attention. It whispered authenticity. Connor once described falling for Miles as finding someone who sees you fully and doesn't flinch. And honestly, isn't that what we all crave? Their relationship wasn't built on grand gestures. It thrived in quiet moments, movie nights, art galleries, cozy road trips. Two artists navigating fame, queerness, and adulthood together, hand in hand, heart to heart. In a culture that still often demands queer couples be either sensational or invisible, Connor and Miles offered another option: to simply exist, to love without explanation, to be public without performing. Their visible affection, whether a casual handhold or a stolen glance, meant the world to countless young queer fans who had grown up believing that kind of open, gentle love was impossible. Sadly, like many young couples, their romance eventually came to an end. By late 2022, fans noticed the subtle signs: fewer posts, different circles. Neither ever made a public statement. There was no drama, no scandal, just the natural, bittersweet fade of a first great love. And even in their parting, they set an example: that queer love stories don't have to be tragic or messy to matter. That endings, too, can be graceful and full of gratitude. Today, both Connor and Miles continue to shine in their respective careers, inspiring others with their openness, creativity, and quiet defiance of what Hollywood once demanded queer actors be. Because whether together or apart, their story, full of tenderness, growth, and fearless authenticity, changed the narrative forever. Drop a 4 if you believe every love story, even the quiet ones, leaves a legacy. Rainbow sparkles. Love isn't just a feeling, it's a revolution. Today, we witnessed 5 couples who are doing so much more than just sharing selfies or red carpet kisses. They're rewriting the story of what queer love can look like: bold, joyful, complex, and unapologetically real. Each of them faced pressures, stereotypes, and expectations. But instead of hiding, they chose to love louder, to show that queer relationships deserve not just acceptance, but celebration. Because when two people love each other openly, they create ripples. Ripples that reach the kid watching in a small town, the young adult struggling with identity, the world that still needs to be reminded: love is love, and it's unstoppable. So here's to the couples who dared to be seen. Here's to pride. Here's to visibility. And here's to every beautiful love story still waiting to be written. Drop a number if you believe queer love changes everything. See you in the next Rainbow Spotlight. Blast off.